What's going on, guys? It's today's Monday, December 2nd. It's around 10 a.m. I'm leaving to go get the short iron plow put on today. So I've got a big journey from West Central Illinois up to Michigan. It's about a 6.5 hour drive or so. This will be the furthest I've taken this truck. I've just hit 3,000 miles on the dot right now. So I'm gonna have a little seat time today. I want to do a 3,000 mile review of the truck, so I'm going to do a separate video for that because I know some of the Chevy guys that watch the channel, they don't, care about the plow stuff. So I'll break it up, doing kind of a plow video for you guys. It's going to be, a little bit of the journey. I'm going to stop and get some Milwaukee heated jackets. My wife's wanted one for a couple of years, and they just came out with a new one. So that has pocket heaters, I guess. They may have had that last year. So I'm gonna get her that new one because it's getting to be kind of cold and my jacket's falling apart. So be a fun little journey. But the Chevy guys, click over, watch the video, make sure you subscribe, get this channel rolling. We're gonna do some neat drone footage this winter, test out this new rear plow once it gets on there. But right now I've got my salt spreader in because we're doing some custom fabrication to the short iron plow. That way I can leave my salt spreader in and actually spread salt over top of the pole plow, the short iron plow. So we're doing a little bit of custom work to that because I have a lot of big commercial accounts that I need to be able to I need to be able to plow it and salt it right away. I don't have time to come back with another truck or anything. So it's gonna be a fun little trip. I've got some plow skins that my plow dealer is sending with me for his personal plow. He has one of these short iron plows, and it's green. It's a neat green color. If you go to Short Iron's Facebook page, you can actually see it on their homepage. And so he's having his Western plow skins custom matched, so it'd be pretty neat to see that. So I've got that and the salt spreader in the bed of the truck and full tank of gas, and it's time for a road trip. Have fun. So as I'm driving here, I'm kind of stirring some of the questions that people have asked me about the plow. Quite a few people have asked me why I chose this plow. I'd say the biggest reason I chose them, I really didn't give an opportunity to Snow Power, or there's another company that makes a rear drag blade that's very similar to Short Irons, but it looks like their box isn't mounted on the plow itself. You put it in your bed, which could have worked for me. It would have been a little bit inconvenient to have the salter back there. I do have room for it, but I have plans for that spare room. So to me, the biggest reason that I thought that it was more beneficial to go with short iron was well, there's two reasons. I've been able to get a hold of that guy, the company, every time I've needed something. They're very proactive about, getting back with you on Facebook, very proactive about getting back with you when it comes to a question. They'll answer everything. I've actually texted Jason back and forth when I was telling him, I sent him pictures and measurements of the bed of my truck, showing the offset of what we're gonna have to do to the box, the control box on the plow to accommodate my salt spreader. Very, very hands-on company, and I like that. The number two reason why I didn't go with the Snow Power is when you're in a plow truck, backing up is already a pain in the butt. I do not think that backing up with a snow plow engaged and pushing a pile backwards is a good idea. If you're a snowplow contractor, you know people cut behind you. it happens. Somebody's going to get hurt, and all of our insurance is going to go up, you know, due to, you know, claims. I don't really think it's that safe. I mean, if you have one, you're probably going to speak out and say, no, it's not a big deal. But to me, it's already, I've got my salt spreader back there. I've got big, you know, big mirrors. I plan on adding a split screen camera system so I can see each wing that's mounted on the dash for safety. I come from a safety background. I was actually a full-time safety officer for a major university for quite some time. And if I was the safety officer and the university said, hey, we want to get this plow because we want to be able to back up and push snow into piles backing up, I would have said, absolutely not. You're going to run somebody over, you're going to back into a car. The first time you back one of those things into a car that's sitting there, or a full-size truck, that thing's toast. There's no way. I mean, if you want to test it out and ram your snow power backwards into a parked car, film it, because we need to see the damage. But I'm not liable for that one. I feel like you have enough going on in a plow track that your eyes need to be looking forward, and you need to be scanning your mirrors. You know, snowplow contractors know when you're backing up, you're always scanning all three mirrors as you're backing up, or in combination with a backup camera. Because even if you have a backup camera, you're not just using that. You're scanning your mirrors. So to try to be engaging in snow removal in reverse, I just don't feel like is a very safe practice. I'm also not a big fan of the fifth wheel style hitch that they use now. You could have still used an in-bed salter. You would have had to have built a skid to get your in-bed salter up over it. Or if you wanted to put a pallet of salt in the bed of your truck to run a tailgate, you know, salter sander, you would still, have to build a pallet up over that, and it just seemed like it would be a big pain. I'm sure Snow Power makes great products. I've watched a lot of the videos. They're cool looking. They really are. They're bad plows. The remote looks pretty handy. I actually designed and built a remote control system for another side of my company, and I sell these boxes. They're called Shirts boxes, not to get into it, but I install remote systems basically on pressure washers for folks. So I sell these units. I just sold like 15 yesterday. So I know remote systems, and I know remote systems fail. I believe they have a backup joystick control that you can plug in and go. I do know remotes tend to get sticky and things like that. You're going to lose them. Their remote's pretty small. I mean, it's bigger than the remote that I use with my system, but this thing's been lost a dozen times in the last year. But no, just driving down the road, I just kind of had that feeling that I wanted to throw this into the video. It's you know, safety is important to me. It's important to my insurance company. You know, if you guys are watching this, we're safe. You know, we're doing it the right way. I think that you really have enough going on in front of you that you don't need to be worrying about backing up and plowing snow. Somebody's going to have an accident, and it's, you know, it can be done easily. I mean, a lot of us have clipped a car backing up. I won't say whether I have or haven't, but it's, you know, if you've done this long enough and you've plowed snow long enough during a snowstorm, you start missing things, and you don't need to be doing that with a, you know, 14 or 16 foot rear plow behind you. You're just going to tear stuff up. So just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not trying to steer you directly at Short Iron. I haven't been up there in person. I've seen their products. My plow dealer, who's a Western dealer, has one of the Short Iron plows. He loves it, and I trust his word, you know, with anything when it comes to snow removal. He's been in this a few years longer than me, and, you know, he does monster accounts, and I feel like, you know, his word was true on this Short Iron plow. And then once I started, you know, getting in contact with them, they really back up their products. This video is going to run a little bit long, but it's a detailed experience for me. I mean, it's a big investment, And if you're like me, you know, money's not cheap. You know, you got to spend it wisely to see that ROI. And that's what's important to me, is to share an honest opinion, just like my Chevy truck reviews that I'm doing. You know, I've never spent, you know, $60,000 on a truck before, or whatever I spent on it. Never done that. I've always said I'd never own a brand new truck because the depreciation, but I was looking for used trucks and just couldn't find one that still had good enough warranty left where I'd learned to trust it, and that wasn't, you know, beat to heck. Ended up costing me, you know, an extra $200 a month to have a good peace of mind that I've got a 150,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty. Yeah, I had to pay extra for the, you know, the extended warranty, but it's good peace of mind. And I guess that's what I have with Short Iron Fabrication right now, is a good peace of mind that these guys are backing up their products. These guys build monster trucks. I mean, I'll hopefully be able to see some at their shop, but they build some pretty bad equipment. And so if they can build a monster truck that can launch over cars and land and not twist a frame, sign me up for their rear plow, because that's impressive to me. So I'm sure there's great other plows other than Boss. Sorry, Boss. I've seen too many horror stories, and I don't feel like changing shear pins all night. There's other great plows out there. You know, I've heard a lot of great things about quite a few of them, but for me, the price point was right with Short Iron, and so that's why we're still on the road trip. So enjoy a little more time lapse, and I'll see you. Alright guys, so I am up and in my hotel. I'm at the Quality Inn. It's a pretty nice hotel. I got a state employee discount, and it was like 80 bucks with tax, or 90 bucks with tax. So I'm going to get settled in and call it a night. Check back with y'all tomorrow. Be install day. So good day. Alright guys, so I'm back at the shop, made it back home. Today's Thursday. I didn't film anything yesterday, it was pretty cold. Wanted to get settled back in at home and see the kids. So overall, plow's on. The ride home, other than feeling like, you know, on the interstate that I had a small parachute behind me, because it did catch air, since it, you know, the airflow off the truck kind of connects into these pockets. Other than, you know, being able to feel that it was back there wind-wise, with this being a 3500 HD, unless I hit some really hard wash, you know, bumps coming off and off bridges, I really couldn't tell it was back there. It takes some getting used to when you're driving down the road with it. You know, the first 150, 200 miles, you're kind of scanning your mirrors every mile to make sure you didn't, you know, have a wing come out, because it's different, you know. So a little about the blade, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour of it. I've got it in the shop. It fit through my 9-foot opening door. So my actual door is 9 foot, and it's got about an inch of overlap. So I've actually got about 8 foot 10 inches of width on my shop door here. And I had prepared my wife that if it didn't fit, I was going to take out both these doors and just put in one giant door, and she wasn't thrilled about that. So luckily it fit through. Took a little Vaseline, but she made it through with about an inch to spare on each side. So if you've got a 9-foot opening door, you're going to be able to fit. My shop is 30 by 36, I believe. And right now I've got about 5 foot behind me, but the front plow, the front whiteout's not on. So it fit through the door. It rode home nice. Everything feels really solid. It's not sloppy when you hit bumps. It doesn't, you know, rack like a chain hoist plow. So that was kind of nice. The first couple bumps I hit, it was I kind of had the feeling like, oh, you know, the front plows, when you hit a bump, they're gonna, you know, smack. They don't do that. I know some of you guys run hydraulic up and down plows, but I'm a Western fan, so. This plow is, it's built really solid. Short Iron Fabrication is the manufacturer. Obviously this video is pretty much all about the travel there, and unfortunately their insurance doesn't allow people to be back when they're doing installs. It's understandable. There's, you know, people welding and grinding all over that shop. There's always busybodies around. You would just be in the way. If you're going to make the trip up to Short Iron Fabrication, either do a late checkout at your hotel, bring them the truck, and then go back to your hotel, or take an Uber or a Lyft and go do something. I went and saw a movie for about an hour, but other than that, I just sat in their shop and caught up on invoicing and things like that. So my total install for this truck, being a 2020 Chevy, the mounts are brand new for them. They've only done one other one, and even my mount was a little bit different than the other 2020 that they did, because mine is the long box and the one they did was a short box, but it was slightly different, so it took a little modification. My install took about 7.5 hours, but they say plan on, you know, it being there the better part of a day. So if you go up there, just make sure you have something to do, something to read, and but yeah, we're going to cover some likes about the plow. I don't have any dislikes yet. There's a whole lot of good about this plow. It is built super beefy. So I'm not going to be able to open the wings out since we are in the shop, but I will show you the up and down mechanism and the force that it puts down. And then if you want to see it in action, we'll just have to wait for some snow. But we don't have snow in the forecast for at least the next 2 weeks. We may have an ice event. But yeah, overall I'm really happy. I am planning on adding airbags to this truck. That is because I lifted the salt spreader 4 inches. So my salt spreader is about as high as I want to put it. I don't want to put it any higher. And right now, if I want to spread salt, I'll be spreading over top of the blade. I'm going to have to have my blade about 3 inches off the ground. And that's not with salt in the bed of the truck. I put salt back there. I'm probably going to be touching when I go through dips. So I'm going to go ahead and airbag the truck so I can lift the back end of the truck up, which will make more room between the blade and the ground. Then I can lower the blade even more and not worry about hitting anything. I don't feel like I'm going to hit the side of this box because my chute doesn't allow that. I feel like it's going to broadcast out. I'm probably going to have to zip tie these lines back a little bit, but not to where they're going to break or anything. I feel like it's going to be a usable setup. I've got a lot of contradictory comments on YouTube and Facebook so far saying this is too much for one truck. Well, this truck's payload is 4,100 and some pounds. I scaled this truck out empty with no plows, nothing on it, full tank of fuel at 7,900 pounds. With this empty salt spreader and the plow on it, I scaled it out, and I don't remember the exact number, but I know my buffer right now is about 2,300 pounds. I know that doesn't include the front plow, and I know that is included in part of your payload, but the front plow is actually going to bring the front down and the back up, or level it more to where I may not even need the airbags as bad, but I'm still going to put them on. But if I throw the front plow on there, the front plow's, you know, roughly 1,000 pounds. I still have 1,300 pounds of payload left over. So realistically, putting 1 ton or 2,000 pounds of salt in the truck, I'm only going to be about 700 pounds over my maximum payload. And if you're a contractor, it's nothing to go 700 pounds over your maximum payload. That really doesn't seem that high to me. So I know it's pushing the boundaries of the truck, but that's what we bought the truck for, was to push the limits of it. So, but yeah, overall, really happy with the quality of this build. I'm going to cover a couple things. Excuse the shop, it's still a little bit messy, but here's a couple of the things that I really like about the plow. The first things I want to cover is one of the things that I first noticed anyway, is the engineered arch. When I first got up there and I was looking at these plows, I looked at it and I was like, man, that's bent. And then I thought, oh, it's an engineered arch for weight distribution. So just like a semi-trailer or a deck over trailer, when not loaded, they have an upward arch. This plow is no different, where it was engineered to have a forward arch. That way when you put a snow load into it, it goes straight, because once you go over center and start going backwards, that's when your metals are going to weaken. And it may be hard to tell in the video, but it definitely does have an arch to it. So that's one of the first things that I noticed about this plow that really, shows me that they put a lot of thought into this thing. Looking over it, it's got huge dowel pins for the braces. These are the stops, so when it comes out, it's going to hit in here, so you can't go over center. The main frame is just huge in this thing. The steel, I believe, is 3/8. Could be wrong. You want to talk to Jason about that, but the thing is just built really solid. Now, unlike other plows that are, like the Boss plow, these do not have shear pins. So this cylinder is the weak point of this wing, and it was designed and engineered that way. It takes a heck of a lot of force to break this cylinder. You have to hit something that wasn't supposed to be hit. When it does, it's going to pull the cylinder apart. You replace the cylinder, it's $200, but you're not replacing shear pins. That is the weak point. Jason, the manufacturer, he's been plowing with this plow for 15 years, and he has never broken one. My buddy who bought one of these, the first time he went out, he hit a giant boulder with it that was, embedded into the ground, and he broke one out. He broke one of his cylinders. So it's just one of those things. I'm going to be using this mainly at Walmart. This truck was basically built to service my Walmart account, and I'm hoping to duplicate it next year and have multiple if it works out. But the whole intent of this truck is to be able to self-serve Walmart with one single vehicle. Some people are going to say that can't be done, but in my area, we typically only see 2 to 4 inch snows. It is unlikely to see a 10+ inch snow. This plow is capable of handling 4 acres per hour. So if you were at Walmart on site from the time it starts snowing till the time you're done and put a bow on it, you could easily keep the lot plowed, an average Walmart being about 8 to 12 acres, to 2 to 3 hours. So if you have a hard storm coming down and you just keep making passes, you're going to be able to keep up with one truck, in my opinion. Now that's going to be tested this winter. My thought is I'm going to try to keep Walmart happy just with this one truck, and only if we have major snowstorms will I bring my other trucks in. So that's the whole purpose of this anyway. Getting back to the plow, when you go in, they are going to replace your receiver. So as you can see there is a 2-inch receiver tube there, a 2-inch receiver tube in the middle that's not used right now, and that will be my hitch for pulling trailers. And then there's another 2-inch receiver tube right there with the pin through it. So they replace your hitch with a 3 style, it's got 3 hitches on it, and then you're going to use the 2 outer ones to hook your plow into. This bar across here, super beefy. Everything, the control links are adjustable. So once I have my front plow on and everything set the way it's going to be when in operation, I will adjust my link bars to adjust my wings for the travel height and for down pressure. So, but yeah, no, just looking over everything. This box typically doesn't come here. This box is typically in the center. Short Iron did a custom job for me so I could accommodate my salt spreader spinner. My salt spreader is offset, but it doesn't seem to bother the truck. It doesn't lean to one side when I have it loaded. I do have a brine tank over on that side. I know that probably only have, well, it's 30 gallons, so full it weighs about 300 pounds, or it's 35 gallons, so full it's about 300 pounds. It 10.5 pounds per gallon of brine. So yeah, no, the experience with working with Short Iron was phenomenal. They took great care of me. I do strongly recommend them so far. Obviously, if I go out in this thing, you know, just rips apart, you know, in an open parking lot, I will do another video, and you guys are going to see the drone footage. So it's not like if I just quit posting drone footage of this thing, y'all are going to wonder what happened to my rear plow. So it's a full honest tutorial of my travels through this, and but yeah, so just stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, because as soon as we get a good snow, I'm going to put this thing to work. I'm going to have the drone follow me around. I'll do some camera staging, and we'll get some really good video of it. But for right now, I think that's about all I need to cover with the Short Iron side. If you guys want to know anything else, just let me know. It does have dual lifting cylinders, so it's a more equal lift and a more powerful lift. And I guess I did tell you I would show you the up down, and I'm not doing wings. So that's up right there, down. You can see my truck squats about 2.5 inches. Maybe 3 when I lift the blade up. It goes up a long way, and it's kind of nice that it does protect my salt spreader spinner when it's all the way up. So if I'm using the front plow and backing up and that thing's all the way up, if I back into something, it's going to definitely hurt whatever I back into a lot more than it hurts my truck or blade, as long as it's not super fast. I'm not saying you should ram stuff, but I think that you could bump into something pretty gently with this, and it wouldn't even hurt the plow at all. So overall, a great product so far. Everything's really nice about it, but I will get some plow footage, and we'll see you guys later.